The H1B guy here, and today I'm going to break down H4, L2, and E non-immigrant biometrics requirements temporarily suspended. But before we get started, I'd like to ask you, if you haven't already, to please subscribe to the H1B Guy channel here on YouTube and like this video so that I can continue to produce more content like this for you. I also wanted to mention the H1B Guy offers a variety of consulting services. I help businesses and individuals solve complex work authorization issues in the recruitment process while bringing awareness to employment-based immigration benefits. If I can help you, please reach out. I'd love to hear how. Today's post is brought to you by RecruiterNetworks.com, the smart solution for digital perm ads since 2001, and also by Path to Canada. Path to Canada provides an ideal Plan B for high-skilled immigrants currently located in the U.S. whose status may be uncertain. If you're facing an H-1B denial or OPT expiration, don't get caught off guard. Make sure you have a Plan B, and Path to Canada is your answer. I didn't want to cover this post specifically on the H1B Guy news for the week ending May 14th, 2021 that I posted last Friday because I wanted to do a standalone post on this big news that takes effect today, May 17th, 2021. This was originally posted on USCIS.gov on May 13th, 2021 in a news release titled USCIS temporarily suspends biometrics requirement for certain Form I-539 applicants. I'm going to rearrange this news release a little bit to give you the background on this modification first. Quote, beginning March 2019, USCIS required Form I-539 applicants and co-applicants to appear in person at an ACS to submit their biometrics. In March 2020, USCIS temporarily suspended in-person services at all its field offices, asylum offices, and ACSs to help slow the spread of COVID-19. Although ACSs have since reopened to the public, they are not yet operating at full appointment capacity due to necessary COVID-19 health and safety protocols. These temporary closures and capacity limitations at the ACSs, accompanied by other processing delays, created a substantial volume of cases awaiting biometrics appointments at ACSs. The significant volume of pending cases related to Form I-539 are particularly impacting in the time frame to USCIS to adjudicate the related employment authorization applications. Form I-765 application for employment authorization for H-4 non-immigrants, spouses and children of H-1B non-immigrants, L2 non-immigrant spouses and children of L1 non-immigrants, and certain E non-immigrants, dependents of E1, E2, and E3 principal non-immigrants. While DHS regulations provide an automatic extension of employment authorization for certain EAD renewals, H4, L2, and E non-immigrants are not included in the applicable automatic renewal provisions. Form I-765 cannot be approved until the dependent spouse's underlying H4, L2, or E non-immigrant status is granted or extended upon approval of Form I-539. So this Trump-era regulation that required in-person biometrics for H4, L2, E1, E2, and E3 spouses and dependents for both new and extension of for obtaining their employment authorization document. As I've discussed many times, USCIS has experienced significant processing delays due to the COVID-19 pandemic and has been unable to recover from their very heavy workload. Back to the news release, quote, effective May 17th, which is today, 2021, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services will temporarily suspend the biometrics submission requirement for certain applicants filing Form I-539, application to extend, change non-immigrant status, requesting an extension of stay or in a change of status to H4, L2, or E non-immigrant status. USCIS will allow adjudications for those specific categories to proceed based on biographic information and related background checks without capturing fingerprints and a photograph. This suspension will apply through May 17th, 2023, subject to affirmative extension or revocation of the suspension period by the USCIS director. The temporary suspension will apply to applicants filing Form I-539 requesting the following: extension of stay in or change of status to H4 non-immigrant status, extension of stay in or change of status to L2 non-immigrant status, extension of stay in or change of status to E1 non-immigrant status, extension of stay in or change of status to E2 non-immigrant status, including E2C, E2CNMI investor, or extension of stay in or change of E3 non-immigrant status, including those selecting E3D. The suspension will apply only to the above categories for Form I-539 applications that are either pending as of May 17, 2021 and have not yet received a biometric services appointment, or new applications postmarked or submitted electronically on or after May 17, 2021. However, USCIS retains discretion on a case-by-case basis to require biometrics for applicants who meet the criteria above, and any applicant may be scheduled for an Application Support Center ACS appointment to submit biometrics. Form I-539 applicants who have already received a biometric services appointment notice should still attend their scheduled appointment. It took a lawsuit to make this happen. Think about that. But here's some good news for those of you who have lived this nightmare, including many of you who have suffered lost jobs. Any individual whose I-539 is still pending for H4, L2, E1, E2, and E3 as of today, May 17, 2021, and they have not yet received their biometrics appointment notice, they will not be required to attend a biometrics appointment for the next 24 months. The same also applies to all new applications, H4, L2, E1, E2, and E3. No biometrics will be required for the next 24 months. And this is in reference to the I-765 and I-539s. Back to the news release. Quote, suspending biometrics requirements for 24 months for H4, L2, and E non-immigrant filings for Form I-539 who meet the criteria that was posted previously above will provide sufficient time for USCIS to address the processing delays that have been exacerbated by limited ACS capacity due to COVID-19 health and safety protocols. USCIS has decided to suspend biometric submission for all H4, L2, and E non-immigrants, in other words, both dependent spouses and children, filing Forms I-539 rather than limiting the suspension to only those dependent spouses who are also filing Form I-765 because it would not be operationally feasible to treat dependent children differently from dependent spouses. USCIS will continue to monitor ASC capacity and adjudication processing times for Form I-539 and Form I-765 and may adjust or extend the suspension as circumstances change. This alert is intended solely for the guidance of USCIS personnel and the performance of their official duties. It is not intended, does not, and may not be relied upon to create any right or benefit, substantive or procedural, enforceable at law or by any individual or other party in removal proceedings and litigation with the United States or in any other form or manner. So here's some clarity on the 24-month suspension, and this really mentioned twice in this news release, and that is USCIS at any time can adjust or extend this suspension. Although I don't expect anything to change on this suspension for the next year and a half at the very least, it still is interesting that that language is included, but it's pretty common in a lot of the USCIS news releases that are put out there. Reading between the lines on the clarification of dependent spouses and dependent children not being treated differently when it comes to their adjudications, I think it comes back to the employment authorization, the I-765 processing delays that we've seen now that some are going on 12 to 18 months. And as I previously covered in the EAD processing delays live, where we had Keely and Divya on to talk about their situation. But the real gem of this news is found in the very last sentence. So let's hear it again one more time. This alert is intended solely for the guidance of USCIS personnel and the performance of their official duties. It is not intended to, does not, and may not be relied upon to create any right or benefit, substantive or procedural, enforceable at law or by any individual or other party in the removal proceedings in litigation with the United States or in any other form or manner. So solely for the guidance of USCIS personnel. And this goes back to the challenge that Jadot was given really from DHS Secretary Ali Mayorkas to change the culture of USCIS personnel to the mindset of open communication and increasing processing efficiencies for all immigrants. Let's hope this is one more step in the right direction and that we can get H4, L2, and EAD holders who have been previously working back to work, back to their employers who so desperately need them. For the full post on H4, L2, and E non-immigrant biometrics requirements temporarily suspended, please check out the H1BGuy.com. And a reminder that today's post was brought to you by RecruiterNetworks.com, the smart solution for digital perm ads since 2001. This national job board network provides recruitment websites in 1,024 major U.S. metro areas. Each local job board is its own portal and is a low-cost resource for immigration recruitment ads for all industries and professions with a flat price of $225 per ad regardless of which city you choose. RecruiterNetworks.com has been the #1 place for immigration attorneys, immigration ad agencies, and employers to meet the DOL requirements for the digital portion of the perm advertisement rules. RecruiterNetworks.com. Tell them the H1B guy sent you. And also by Path to Canada. Path to Canada provides an ideal plan B for high-skilled immigrants currently in the U.S. whose status may be uncertain. If you're facing an H-1B denial or OPT expiration, don't get caught off guard. Make sure you have a plan B, and Path to Canada is your answer. They will help you navigate the process. If you're interested in finding out more, please be sure to click the link in the video description below. Just wanted to ask you again to please like this video, subscribe to the H1B Guy channel here on YouTube, and click the bell for notifications so that you're notified anytime we post new content here to this channel. If you've made it this far, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch my video. I really appreciate your support. The H1B Guy, your global source for all things H1B.